We're back with another email experiment, and this time we're talking about the controversial "Do you hate me" email. Keep watching to find out what it is, what happened when I sent this email to my list, and if I'd ever do it again or recommend you try it. So this is Email Experiments, the show where I test out email marketing tactics, techniques, and strategies and tell you how they work. And this week we're looking at the "Do you hate me" email, which as far as I can tell is something that originated from Ryan Levesque, who is the guy behind the Ask method. I'll put a link in the description to the full email. He has a blog post on his site about like different email subject lines to try, and then he has the "Do you hate me" email in this blog post with the full body of the copy of the email to send. So Ryan Levesque recommends sending this email after a launch as a way to get feedback from your audience. And so you send this email with a subject line, "Do you hate me?" and it's meant to be shocking, it's meant to grab attention, and it's meant to get people to actually open and respond to you. The gist of the email is just to say something like, "Oh, I saw you didn't buy, was it something I said? Was it something I did? Do you hate me?" And Ryan recommends doing a little emoji like winky face to kind of let people know that you're joking, you're not like seriously thinking that they hate you. And the point of sending that email is to get people that were not engaged in your launch, didn't buy, to respond back and tell you why they didn't buy so you can make changes in your messaging and your marketing next time you launch. So I originally learned about the "Do you hate me" email from Tarzan K. I didn't actually know about Ryan Levesque's strategy until I started researching this video to see, what else there was out there about the "Do you hate me" email. So I learned about this email from Tarzan in one of her masterminds that I was in, and she recommended using this as a subject line for a scrub sequence. So that's when people who have been on your list and aren't engaging, they've gone quote unquote cold, you want to try and re-engage them. So you send them this email, the "Do you hate me" email. And because it's such a shocking email subject line, the theory is that even unengaged people will see that in their inbox and open it and either make the decision to, "Oh yeah, I do want to stay on your list," or, "Oh no, I just want to unsubscribe." Tarzan did warn us before sending this. She told us to expect to get strong responses. It's a polarizing email. It's a polarizing subject line. So I use this as a scrub email. I send the subject line, "Do you hate me?" And then the body was just something like, "Oh, I noticed you haven't been opening my emails for a while. Is it something I said, something I did? Let me know if you would like to stay on by clicking here, or unsubscribe if you're not interested anymore." And so let's get into the results of that email. So I sent it to a cold segment of my list. So it was people that were not engaged. So the open rate was low, but it was expected for that segment. So the open rate for this email was 12%. So when I do a scrub sequence, I usually do a series of 3 emails to kind of give people a few chances to see that before I just delete them from my list. And this email at 12% did have the highest open rate of all 3 of the scrub emails I sent. The other 2 I sent were 9% open rate and 10% open rate. So the point of this email was to get people to either click to stay on my list or unsubscribe. I had 2 people click to stay on my list and I had 4 people unsubscribe. And of those unsubscribes, I did have one person email me back, and her message was brutal. I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, so this is a reply I got. She said, "Okay, I have to say I was totally taken aback by the subject line. It sounds like a sad codependent girl who had a boyfriend leave her and she needs constant reassurance. Yikes. That subject line made me unsubscribe." So yeah, that's the kind of strong responses you might get from sending this email. But even though I went in knowing that I might get these kind of responses, I wasn't really prepared for like that level of roasting. So yeah, getting that response didn't feel very great, and it didn't really make me want to send that email again. But I think it's interesting to compare this to the last scrub sequence I did. So I scrub my list about once a year. This particular one I did in 2018. Then last year I scrubbed my list again, and I sent a different email, and I want to share the results of that just to kind of help you compare and see, like, is the "Do you hate me" email super effective over any other subject line you could use. So the next time I scrubbed my email list, for the first email, instead of using the "Do you hate me" subject line, I used the subject line, "Do you still want to hear from me?" And the rest of the email content was the exact same. The body of the email was the same. The actions were the same, either, click to unsubscribe or click to stay on. And the open rate was 12.3%. So basically the same thing. So yes, it's a very small sample size, just me and my email list, but in this experiment, this magic subject line didn't perform drastically better just because it was so shocking. So would I ever send the "Do you hate me" email again? Honestly, I probably wouldn't. And it's not just because I'm a super sensitive marshmallow that can't handle harsh feedback. So this is just a personal preference for me. Your experience might vary with this kind of email, but I personally don't like sending email subject lines to be shocking just for the sake of being shocking. So normally this is not something I would send, and I was sending it because it was like an email marketing tactic that a mentor recommended that I was trying, but it felt kind of like a tactic. It didn't actually feel like something I'd send, something I'd say, or, you know, how I would actually market my business. And that's where the "do you still want to hear from me" felt a lot more natural to me. And even for the Ryan Levesque email where you're asking for feedback, I've done that before, and I've sent the email subject line, "Can you do me a favor?" The other thing I don't love about this, and the person that sent me that email reply really hit on this, is that this subject line sounds really needy and it makes everything about you. When I think about someone that hasn't been engaging with my emails for a while, there are so many reasons that they would not be reading my emails that have nothing to do with me. You know, they could be busy, they could be dealing with health issues, they could be dealing with family issues, they could be having like really difficult stuff going on in their life, and then I come in here and be like, "Do you hate me?" Like, to me that just feels bad to put that on someone. Like, "Oh, you're not reading my emails, it must be because you don't like me anymore. Like, tell me if you like me." Like, I get where that person was coming from when she sent me that feedback. And when I think about it that way, and I think about like how I want to approach my email list and how I want to approach my audience, I don't want to make it always about me. It's really mostly about them. So would I recommend you send a "do you hate me" email? Not really. I'm all for experimenting with your email list. I mean, obviously that's what I'm doing here with the Email Experiment Show. So if you want to give it a try, go for it. You know, but is it a magic subject line that just totally unlocks your list and gets like tons of engagement and gets like 100% open rates? No, it's not. And if you do try it, just be prepared for some tough feedback and some strong responses, especially if you're sending it to a bigger segment of your list. The other thing, if you do send this email out to your main list or a bigger segment of your list, be prepared for unsubscribes. So I sent this to a cold segment of my list that was probably going to unsubscribe anyway, and if they didn't engage at all, I was going to delete them from my list. But if you have people that are engaging with your list and are liking your emails regularly, and then you throw this "do you hate me" email at them, it might turn people off so much that they unsubscribe. So if you do decide to try out this email, expect a much higher unsubscribe rate as well. So that is my experience with the "do you hate me" email. What email experiment should I try out next? Is there an email marketing trend or tactic you'd like to see me test out? Let me know in a comment below. And if you want to be part of my next email experiment, get on my email list. I'll leave a link below where you can sign up to get my emails. Thanks so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you next time.